Hi there, so we're going to do some more area of 2D shapes, and today we're going to be looking at the area of triangles. But before that, you should have done area of rectangles, and remember it was length times width to find that area. Area is the space inside the shape, so all that blue area, how much area is it taking up on my screen? And you do length times width, and for that we're talking about you need, the length is one complete side, and the width is the side going the other direction. It sort of completely encompasses the shape, doesn't it? So you have your length times by your width, which is 28, and the units are, in this case, centimeters squared. Partly because I've done centimeters times by centimeters, so it's centimeters squared. Okay. Now imagine we've got the same rectangle, but this time, so it's going to have the same area. Okay, but this time, how about let's just write that down. 7 times by 4, because it is a rectangle, equals 28. But how about if we cut it in half? And so half of it is now gone. Well, my area then will also be half, won't it? It will be half of this, which is half of 28, which is 14 centimeters squared. And it turns out that a triangle, if you put it inside a rectangle that sort of encompasses it, so that could be, think about a rectangle like that. If you had a triangle there, that would also be half of the rectangle that encompasses that, triangle, or a bigger or a taller one like this. Any triangle is going to be half of the area of the rectangle that would completely cover it. Some good drawing there, isn't it? Which means our formula for the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Now that's important. When we say the height there, that one, we do mean from the bottom to the top. Now in this case it happened to be one side of the triangle because it's a right angled triangle. That side goes straight up, that side there. Okay, but it could be that we have a triangle that's more like this, in which case the height will be the vertical height, h there, the vertical height of the triangle, the distance straight from the bottom to the top. It's a bit like a mountain. When you're measuring a mountain like Everest, they don't get a tape measure and just go up the side. They want to know how tall it is from the very top to the very bottom, just going straight up. Yeah, that is the height. And then the base, of course, is the side that's perpendicular to it. So the side that sort of makes a T shape. Yeah. So in this case for a triangle, we have a T shape, base, height. And the triangle is the bit that goes up to the top of that. Okay. So let's try a couple. Here we go. I've got a triangle. I don't want slopey sides. When I'm talking about area, I can't think of any shapes off the top of my head that would need slopey sides. We want that base. So the area is the base, which is 4, times by the height. So that's from the bottom to the top, which is 3. And divide by 2. Always halve it. Now 4 times 3 is 12, divide by 2 is 6. So the area of my triangle here is 6 centimeters squared, because those are my units, centimeters. Base times height, divide by 2. Try another one. Here we go, we've got, again, a base of 5, so that's 5, times by a vertical height, which is 6. Remember, that's good, so it goes straight up. Divide by 2. You always halve it, because otherwise you get a rectangle. We don't want a rectangle. We want half of that to get a triangle. Now 5 times 6 is 30. Divide that by 2 is 15. Oh, and I've put centimeters, but it's not. What are my units here? Yeah, millimeters. So it's millimeters squared. Area is always something squared, because it's a flat kind of plane. It's a flat area. It's not just a line, it's an actual area. How can you use the word area to describe area? That's a bit rubbish, isn't it? Okay, what about this one? Okay, I've got 3 sides on here. I want to do my area. Which measurements do I need? Well, I think we can see the 6 is the base, times by the height. We don't want the slopey side, we just want the measurement from the bottom, from the base, right to the top, going straight up, and that does go straight up at a right angle, so it's 7. Yeah, so that is my height. So 6 times 7, divide by 2. 6 sevens are 42. Divide that by 2. to get 21. And the units are centimetres squared. So base times height, divide by 2. There's 2 for you to have a go at. I want you to pause the video, write down your working out, please. Don't forget your units. And then unpause when you're done and check your answers. Okay, I've unpaused. So what do we have here? We have a triangle. The base is 8. And then this side is 6. And that goes straight up to the top. So that is the height of my triangle. So it's 8 times 6, divide by 2. Always halve it. 6 8s are 48, divide by 2 is 24. What are my units? Well, these are centimetres. So it is centimetres squared because we are doing area. This one, area equals, well, the base is 6. So I've got 3 measurements. You never just times stuff together, it just doesn't matter what it is. You're always looking for this dimension. What dimension am I looking for? It's the height. Base times height, divide by 2. The height, in this case, is 4. Bottom to top is 4. I don't need the 5. It's completely irrelevant to me. I just do 6 times 4, divide by 2. 6 4s are 24. Divided by 2 is 12 centimetres squared, because again, we're talking centimetres. Yep, you need to make sure those match as well. If one was in millimetres and the other was centimetres, we'd need to make them match before we could then work out the area. Okay, I've got 8 for you to have a go at there, so pause the video, have a good go at those. Remember, we're doing base times height, divide by 2. It's this formula here. Off you go. Oh, pause the video, yeah. Cool, so you should have done those. Right, area is base times height divided by 2. The base is 10, the height is 6, and then halve it. 6 10s are 60, divide by 2 is 30, and it's centimetres squared. I think 1 mark for each of those. 1 mark for 30, 1 mark for centimetres squared. This one, again, it's upside down, but that doesn't matter. The base can, be that way up. It's just like they've turned the triangle upside down. Base is 12, and the height would be 5 because it goes right from the base, off at 90 degrees to the top of the triangle. Just it's upside down. 12 5s are 60. Divide by 2 is also 30. They have the same area, those two triangles. Yeah. This one then. Again, we've got a right angle triangle. So again, it's just 8 times 2 and then halve it, which is 8 centimetres squared. This one, we've got 3 dimensions. Remember, I need a base and a height, and they should be at 90 degrees to each other. The base is 8, and the height is 6, and then halve it. Base times height, divide by 2. 6 8s 48, divide by 2, 24 centimetres squared. Oh, apparently my computer is a little bit low, so just whilst you're thinking about what you've done and what you've achieved, I'm going to plug in my power supply. All the best, remote teachers do this kind of thing. There we go. Right, okay, next one. Base times height divided by 2. Okay, there we go. Pretty straightforward, isn't it? We've only got 2 dimensions. 10 and 8. Are they a base and a height? Base, height at a right angle. Yes, they are. And divide by 2. That would be 40 centimetres squared. Again, it might be on its side, but it's still a base and it's still a height. They've just turned it around on its side. Just make sure the height is at 90 degrees, which it is. 8 times 12, divide by 2. Well, 8 12s are 96. Divide that by 2, and I have 48 centimetres squared. This one, again, that's the right way up this time. I've got a base, I've got a height, they're at 90 degrees, so that's good. 6 times 4, divide by 2. 6 4s are 24, divided by 2 to get 12 centimetres squared. And lastly, I have my base, I have my height, and the height is at 90 degrees to that, baseline, so that's fine. 6 times 4 divided by 2. It's the same area as the one before. It's 12 centimeters squared. Right, a couple of other little ones just to try. How about if we had a triangle? I've got the area, but I want to work out one missing side. So I'm going to use my formula again in a way, which is area equals base times height divided by 2. I'm going to try that and put the numbers in that I've got. And my area is 48. My base is x. And the height is 8. And that's divided by 2. Now I want to find out what x is. So let's undo my formula. Times it by the height divided by 2. Let's do that backwards. Let's first of all, I'm going to flip backwards and forwards between some colours here. I'm going to times it by 2 because I don't want this fraction here. Let's get rid of this divide by timesing by 2. Let's go back to the blue. And so 48 times by 2 is 96. And so that is x times by 8. I'm just undoing my formula. I'm timesing it by 2 and then dividing by the side that I've got, right? So I don't want 8x, I just want x. And in that case, remember, we always divide by that number that's being multiplied. We undo it. We do the opposite. It's just like the solving we did before. And so x is equal to, how many 8s in 96? Well, that would be 12. So x equals 12 centimeters. This must be 12 centimeters, right? Just always check it. So base times height is 96, divided by 2, 48. Yeah, it works. We've just undone it. We've times it by 2, because in the original formula it was halved. And then we've divided it by that side that I've got, and it leaves the other side. Try that. Okay, see if you can write out, put the numbers in a formula, and then try and undo it. And in this case, I want to calculate the height. Remember, the height is distance from bottom to top at a right angle, so that's my height. All right, pause the video, just have a go, see if you can apply what I did there to what you need to do. Tricky, I know, but you can do it because you're awesome. Pause. Unpaused, right. Remember, area of a triangle is area equals base times height divided by 2. Notice, even though I've done this loads, I still write out the formula, and then I write it again with the numbers in. So 10.5 is my area, my base is 7, and my height is, I don't know, let's call it h. I'm going to divide that by 2. Okay, first thing, because it was divided by 2, let's times it by 2. Let's double it to get it back up to its original amount when the base was times the height. Now 10.5 doubled is 21. That equals 7 times the height. But I want to find out what the height is. So we're going to divide it by the 7. (21) divided by 7 is 3. And of course, 7h divided by 7 is just h. That's why we did it. So 3 centimeters. My height equals 3 centimeters. Yeah, so you're just undoing that formula. All right, hope you got that right. If not, you've got a couple here to have a go at. I'm going to start you on the first one. Area equals base times height divided by 2. So put your numbers in. The area is 9, because it says so, 9 centimeters squared. And that equals the base of 4.5 times by the height, which is x, divided by 2. Okay, and then undo that to figure out what the answer is. Oh, pause the video. Unpause when you're done. We have unpaused. First things first, let's times it by 2 to get 18. So 4.5 times by x. So that was, we times it by 2. Then we're going to divide it by the 4.5. How many 4.5s in that? There are 4. So x must be 4 centimeters. 4 times that divided by 2 is 9. This one, 25, equals the base, which is x, times by 5 divided by 2. Well, firstly, let's times it by 2 to get 50 equals x times 5. In that case, we'll divide it by the 5 to get 10 centimeters for x. And just double check, 10 times 5 is 50. Halve it to get 25. Right, area is 18. Oh, if you've mucked up these first two, why not pause it now? Have a go at these two again. Redo them. And then unpause. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. 18 times by the base, which is 6, times by the height, which is x, divide by 2. First things first, times it by 2 to get 36 equals 6 times x. And then divide it by the 6 to get 6 equals x. So it must be 6. And that'll be right, because 6 times 6 is 36. Divide by 2 is 18. Last one, area is 10. The base is 5. The height is x. And then we divide it by 2. Well, first of all, times it by 2. Get 20 equals 5 times x. And then divide it by that 5 to get 100 equals x. Oh no, so what am I talking about? 100. I times that. I was just looking at it thinking, what have I done there? I thought I've gone mad. I divided it by 5, didn't I? 20 divided by 5 is 4. It must be 4. Dear me, I'm losing it. It's trying to talk and write and think at the same time. I can't do all three. Not at my age. All right, so if this was 4, 5 times 4 is 20. Divided by 2 is 10. Whew, dearie me. Silly me. Right. Okay, I believe that is where we finish today. So off you go to do whatever task I've set up for you after this one. Bye-bye.